We begin our central broadcast with the latest information on the progress of Storm Julia. In the IDEAM, its most recent communique reports that permanent monitoring continues in conjunction with other agencies in the National Disaster Risk Management System. In the communique, it is communicated that Tropical Storm Julia in the Caribbean Sea continues its displacement towards the west at a speed close to 30 kilometers per hour, 60 knots, and sustained winds of 65 kilometers per hour.
Tropical Storm Julia in the next few hours is forecast to continue its transit in the category to the west and subsequently strengthen into hurricane on Saturday, probably in the afternoon or evening as it approaches the island of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina. The National Hurricane Center, in conjunction with IDEAM, has agreed to issue a maximum hurricane warning for the archipelago, which means that hurricane conditions are possibly within the area under what? Sustained wind of 119 kilometers per hour or more are possible. And a tropical storm watch for Tropical Storm Julia remains in effect across the central Colombian Caribbean Sea. Accumulated rainfall in excess of 120 millimeters is also forecast for the archipelago, and a significant increase in the wind strength and wave height is expected. According to the DMAR forecast model, an increase in the height as well in the Western Caribbean Sea is estimated for today, October 7 and tomorrow, October 8 of 2022 year, with values up to 4 meters in open waters and over the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina. The system continues to show a rapid intensification and continues to transit through the national territory. Therefore, IDEAM continues to monitor ocean and atmospheric conditions, and based on the analysis of forecast models and the evolution of low pressure, they will be communicating in a timely manner to the community and the National Disaster Risk Management System about the change in condition or a possible impact on the Colombian territory through special official communiques, message in the media and social networks, sharing information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The evacuation of the people residing on the south side of the island was one of the preventive measures announced by the governor this afternoon in a live interview with Teleislas News. The reception to this measure is divided.
Le vamos a solicitar la evacuación.
We are going to request the evacuation of the community of the coastal edge from the Little Hill area until South End, that is to say, up to the Blowing Hole section. There are going to be some effects because there are many people who are located on the coastal edge very close to the sea and could be affected by the swell. Just now, we were talking with the commander of CECIP, who can give us more precision about the size of the swell and the prediction made by the DMAR. But we do have to take precautions in this regard, and the order is to evacuate all the houses.
With these words, the governor invited the community of the coastline in the south of the island to evacuate their homes and use the shelters available for this cause. Teleislas News, in its tour of the southern sector, was able to see that the community is preparing their homes by securing roofs, doors, and windows for any emergency. Regarding the evacuation requested by the administration, some said,
"Well, really and truly, no. We know. As Hoa said, we commanded the agreement. We prefer stay home in family and at least and keep on trust in God first of all, and well, at least they take precaution what we needed to take in these circumstances. We know they take it for granted now, so but we really protect as far as what we can. You understand me? Humanly talking, and well, at least and keep on trusting in God that He will do everything what He must do, and we doing all the time for us.
Bueno, la verdad es que sí es necesario. Well, if it is necessary, it will have to be done, because first of all is to save human life.
In this sector, it was also evident that fishermen insured their boats. This is the case of Manrique Hudson, who had the help of members of this sector who did not hesitate to collaborate, managing to pull his boat to the beach.
My preparation is that I have a small boat around here, so I come and make sure I have it high enough for the weather not molest it, and then after I go to my sister's house and see what she after to do, what I can help her in, because they are way up on the hill If anything, maybe she can go up on the hill or.
In the next few hours, it is expected that the inhabitants of the south side of the island will be able to evacuate their homes and that the community in general will abide by the preventive measures to take shelter in a safe place.
With Storm Julia approaching the archipelago department in the next few hours, residents of District 4 are preparing for the heavy rains and flooding common in this area. They're also looking to stock up and pay bills in anticipation of a possible natural disaster.
Taking into account the heavy rains predicted for the islands and the common flooding in District 4, the community is preparing by safeguarding their businesses and homes to receive this storm.
Taking precautions with the business, the whole issue of how to avoid the water getting in, because here in the sector the issue is complicated. More than all, the space here that is always flooded. We also feel that we are selling basic necessities and sales have increased a lot because of the fact that people are stocking up, since they know that tomorrow there will be complications due to the weather. Especially staying with the family, buying groceries to get us through these days of storm that the government has declared, and spending the curfew at home with all that it requires, and as safe as possible. Taking into account the floods, I work in a cab, and since this sector floods so much, it's past 4 o'clock. So I am already going home because I don't want to be caught up later in this. At the house, we are prepared with food supplies for 5 days more or less. We are prepared with the necessary things, first aid kit, candles, and things like that.
We're trusting in the Lord that nothing serious is going to happen and preparing ourselves with candles, blankets, and tying the roofs.
During the afternoon, there were heavy rains that caused flooding and difficulty in the mobility of vehicles and passers-by in the neighborhood of Guinea Hen and surrounding areas. It is expected that the pumping system that is active at the moment will serve to evacuate the water as the weather permits.
And long lines were recorded today in the supermarkets on the island where citizens went to stock up on food due to the passage of Tropical Storm Julia.
With the passage of the tropical storm Julia through the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Santa Catalina, citizens has begun to stock up on basic necessities, and long lines were recorded in supermarkets where even some food is already scarce.
I believe that after ETA and IOTA, one has learned a lesson. In the house, we try to have non-perishable food, and now I am reinforcing with grains, rice, canned goods, pasta, and cereal.
I have taken the basics, such as rice, protein, fruits, bread, and the necessary to be safe with my family during this time. It's time to prepare because you don't know what's coming. We are in God's hands, buying necessary things like grains, canned goods, and dairy products.
With all the safety factors that the departmental government has issued, food from cans, drinks, something that does not have to be cooked, because where we are, we do not have gas. But we have to keep in mind that if the electricity goes out, we must have food that can be prepared quickly.
The departmental government requests citizens to take refuge in their homes or places of lodging as soon as possible and get ready for the curfew that begins on Saturday at 6 a.m.
The departmental government, with the purpose of protecting the integrity of the islanders, has tightened the emergency measures after the passage of Tropical Storm Julia.
This afternoon, the departmental government made several announcements during his speech in order to try to protect the integrity of the people of the department after the passage of the tropical storm Julia, noting that the most critical hours are expected to be between Saturday and Sunday. One of the measures taken by the governor is the curfew that starts tomorrow, Saturday, October 8 at 6 in the morning. This was stated in Decree 0606, date October 7th. Another important announcement issued during the broadcast was made by the Fire Commander Willie Gordon, who informed that fire crew are already activated to come to the department in case it is necessary to search and rescue people affected by passage of the tropical storm Julia.
There are different rescue teams in Colombia ready. When we say activated, it's because they already have their suitcases ready. They are autonomous. God willing, we don't need to activate them. If those teams arrive here to support us, we don't have to worry about anything. It is for rescues. God willing, we don't need it.
The different control agencies are on alert to help carry out the pertinent action when tropical storm passes, and it is necessary to take action to help the island community.
And the use of beaches and sailing of boats will be restricted due to the passage of this tropical storm starting today. This was announced by the Maritime Authority.
In other news, the General Maritime Directorate restricts the use of beaches and the sailing of boats in order to protect the lives of citizens. Through a press release, the General Maritime Directorate continues to monitor the progress and conditions of this natural phenomenon and provides timely information to local and regional authorities through the port authorities in order to facilitate decision-making to prevent risk inherent in this phenomenon that may affect maritime and coastal activities and safeguard human life at sea. The Port Authority recommends vessels in the area of the Northern Keys and other areas of the jurisdiction take refuge in safe harbors in order to maintain integral maritime safety. On the other hand, it is recommended to restrict the use of the beaches. Finally, the sailing of large and small boats is also restricted until there is an improvement in the evolution of the meteorological conditions. It is recommended to restrict the use of the beaches and to take shelters in a safe place. The Colombian Maritime Authority will continue to constantly monitor the atmospheric ocean conditions in the Caribbean Sea in order to inform the maritime community in a timely manner.
And now let's get to know other facts that are currently news in our brief news section of today.
The departmental government and the Unit for Disaster Risk Management have announced that for the island of San Andres are available 6 shelters, which are the Flowers Hill School, Bolivariano, Esfuerzo Vive Digital of Ceribie, St. Francis of Assisi Parish, and the Cove Recreational Center. For the island of Providence has been established the fire station. During the passage of Tropical Storm Julia through the archipelago, the emergency lines 123, the Crewe hotline 316-02-69-210, and the telephone numbers of the energy service provider will be available. The Civil Aeronautics informed the decision to temporarily suspend civil air operations at the Gustavo Rojas Pinilla Airport at the Airport El Embrujo of Old Providence. The suspension applies from Saturday, October 8 at 6 a.m. until Sunday 9 at 12 noon, and the entity invites tourists to contact their airlines to foresee changes in their itineraries. Through a communiqué, the Departmental Sanitation Company informed that from 6 a.m. until Saturday, October 8th, until 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning, October 11th of this month, the garbage collection service will not be provided in the corresponding sectors on those days. This decision is based on the curfew decree issued by the departmental government. In view of the increase of visitors in the department's resorts, the departmental government requests visitors to stay in the facilities of their lodging place, refrain from visiting beaches during the curfew, not to go near the windows in case of strong winds, follow the safety recommendation of the place where they are staying, consult the contingency plans of official sources, and consult the nearest shelters.
Since yesterday, inhabitants of Old Providence began to get houses and businesses ready for Julia's arrival, which, according to reports, will begin to feel strong winds from noon tomorrow.
The community of Old Providence has been preparing for the coming of Julia. Some have already begun the task of covering their windows with plywood or any material that helps them protect the window. Some talk about how they're preparing for the coming of Julia.
My papa they put it on the window them and so, and well, we got to look at things pack up because we don't know what can take place, and we keep the weight on the news to see what can take place, and we just have to keep alert because we don't know how it coming.
On the other hand, others say that they have not received any information yet about shelters or where to take refuge.
No one tell me what to do, how to do,
if you not going to maybe Facebook or Instagram or your WhatsApp, you really don't know because government not give you no information about it.
Other people say that they are afraid of the situation.
I am very afraid. I'm afraid because from the effect of the first that the hurricane that passed, I wasn't too good. I get damaged a whole lot. My house get damaged and myself also.
For now, it is expected that the cyclone will reach the island as a Category 1 hurricane. The community is asked to prepare themselves and to be attentive of the official information.
And with news of the municipality, we reach to the end of this broadcast. We see you Sunday at 8 p.m. with more Teleislas news. Good night and be safe.